My dad literally is ripping people off and holding them captive and controlling their every move. But Katie was a slut before she got married. Cheers.
Hi everyone, it's Nini. I know I don't post as many Katie Joy videos as I used to, and I've seen some comments about people missing me, and I love you guys. I've just been spending more time this year trying to get my true crime channel going. Plus, I've been trying to find a good balance between real life and YouTube. But as most of you know by now, a lot of court documents were filed yesterday in the 7M versus Katie Joy lawsuit. Holy moly, are they juicy. 7M's attorney, Amber Stavig, is a boss. She hit it out of the park. She dropped the mic. They are not messing around. As much as Katie Joy wants to say they're going to settle or she's going to win the lawsuit, it does not look like it at all. I only want to talk about this one document, and I'm only going to talk about parts of it, mostly because I don't understand half of it. I'm not afraid to say that it is hard for me to understand legal jargon. Most of the time it sounds like this to me.
Yickety-doo, yickety-da, ping-pong, lippy-tappy-too-ta.
The document I want to talk about is 7M's response to Katie Joy's responses to their requests for discovery and some other things. Katie Joy denied most of their requests, citing journalistic privilege. So 7M responded to those denials. And I found this interesting because 3 and 4 days ago, Katie Joy was posting about how her son had surgery 5 years ago and implying that her grandfather S8'd her when she was 5 years old. All of us who know Katie Joy are like, okay, she always plays the victim card when something's not going her way. So we're all like, okay, something was going down. I didn't check to see the dates on the other documents, but the one that I'm going to go over was sent to Katie's lawyer on July 7th, which is just 6 days ago from the time I'm recording this. And it was just 2 days after this that Katie Joy started posting about her son and her grandfather. She is so predictable. 7M many times throughout this document denied that Katie is a journalist. Here they say, it is plaintiff's contention that defendants are not journalists, and therefore they cannot assert journalistic privilege. Defendants have failed to move the court for a designation as a journalist, as defendants have failed to protect any alleged privilege as a journalist in the past year of litigation. It is improper to use an alleged journalistic privilege to shield them from complying with any discovery in this action, which does make sense because the only thing mentioned in court about Katie being a journalist was when the former judge said that it was plausible that she was a journalist. But Katie ran with that and was like, I'm protected from everything now. I can say whatever I want because I'm a journalist. I do think that's a very good point that this lawsuit has been going on for over a year and Katie has yet to request the court to get something official that says she's a journalist, probably because she knows they will deny it. This part was hilarious because in some of Katie Joy's and her lawyer's responses, they said they didn't know what affiliate meant. Who responds in a court document and is like, I don't know what that means? Like, did Katie write that or did her lawyer write that? As to defendants' claim they do not know what affiliates means, the dictionary definition of affiliates is officially attach or connect a subsidiary group or a person to an organization. As counsel for defendants has repeatedly stated, she has decades of experience in litigation. Stating they do not understand what the word affiliates means or how it is connected to 7M Films is not persuasive. Here again, they're stating that they do not feel Katie is a journalist, therefore she's not entitled to that journalistic privilege. They had asked for some of Katie Joy's tax documents, which she denied. Plaintiffs asked for tax documents from Catherine Mansky-Paulson from January 2020 to the present. Defendants objected as to relevance. Defendants have a self-proclaimed monetized social media presence. The subjects she discusses on her social media page are what brings in revenue. If defendants have sustained an increase in revenue as a result of their disparagement of plaintiffs, that monetization is relevant to defendants' motive for their continued assault on plaintiff's character. As tax returns and other financial statements are relevant to this lawsuit, defendants must disclose the same. How does it feel, Catherine, to have somebody digging into your tax records? Here's one that I don't fully understand, but at the bottom, it's indicating that Katie might have lied under oath. Something about records, and if defendants do in fact have these records, it appears the defendants have lied under oath in their discovery responses, which constitutes perjury. Here's another one where she said defendants are not a journalist. Defendants are not a journalist, and the court has not found defendants to be a journalist, which is true. Many of her social media posts involve her consuming alcohol to the point of slurred speech while discussing her personal opinions on topics like religion. This is not typical of journalists reporting for the New York Times or even a local news source like the Star Tribune. And then even if Katie was a journalist, it doesn't prevent her from having to respond to this. Here she says defendants have been the subject of numerous lawsuits for false and unverified statements about third parties. 7M is the 5th person to sue her, and it is sounding like Katie Joy might be getting sued for the 6th time by the Derricos. The total amount of frequency of the statements for which defendants have made false or unverified statements is highly relevant to this lawsuit. If this interrogatory whatever, is overly broad and unduly burdensome, it is only because defendants have a regular habit of making false and unverified statements of fact. That is funny because this is in regards to them asking Katie to provide, I think, every statement she has made that is defaming 7M. Katie and her lawyers objected to this, saying that it was overly broad and unduly burdensome. So 7M's like, well, if there's just so many of those statements that it's too hard to find all of them, that's your own fault. I saw this in one of the other documents that 7M requested Katie state how many followers she has bought since January 2020. And we all have been suspicious that Katie has bought subscribers and followers over the years because some of the numbers don't make sense. Like she has had times where her view counts have been down, but she's still gaining subscribers. Like that is highly unlikely. Katie objected to that one and stated relevance. That is very telling because if you had never bought subscribers, you would have just denied that. There are some things that Katie did flat out deny, like she didn't object to them, she denied them. So if she had never bought subscribers, wouldn't you just deny it instead of objecting to it, stating relevance? This lawsuit is based on defendants' false and defamatory statements and dissemination to their followers. Followers in quotation marks. Defendants have claimed they are a journalist instead of a social media personality. Purchased followers are relevant to defendants' claimed status as a journalist, as well as to the extent of the dissemination of her false and defamatory statements about plaintiffs. Now, this is where Katie could get into some trouble. It's regarding her deleting evidence that the court has instructed her not to delete. I believe this was the same issue when she was being sued by Tati Westbrook, where she deleted stuff when she was not supposed to. As plaintiffs had already commenced this lawsuit and defendants were aware of their duty to preserve information, it would appear that defendants have purposely destroyed documents and have either conveniently forgot or purposely did not retain information. Katie keeps thinking the internet is not forever. Plaintiffs requested defendants admit if they have ever used controlled substances, including alcohol, while discussing plaintiffs on Instagram. Pretty much every live Katie Joy has ever done, she is drinking wine. It's very clearly visible. Defendants objected as alcohol is not a controlled substance and to relevance. While alcohol may not be a controlled substance in a criminal sense, in the sense that it is a mind and behavior altering substance which is regulated, the colloquial use of the term shall include any mind altering or potentially mind altering substance, including alcohol. The question is relevant as defendants claim they are a journalist, and use of any mind-altering substance is relevant to defendants' claim they are a reporter. Further, this entire lawsuit is based on defendants' actions, the mental state of defendants, and any substances they have taken in making statements against or about plaintiffs is relevant to this lawsuit. This is another one in regards to Katie buying followers. Plaintiffs requested you admit that you have purchased social media followers. Defendants objected as to unlimited in time and scope and to relevance. The question is aimed to account for any time Ms. Paulson or without a crystal ball have purchased followers on social media going back as far as social media followers could be purchased. Defendants have touted throughout this lawsuit that Ms. Paulson is a reporter.
I actually am a reporter, so you can fuck off.
And her follower count proves it. Her history of potentially purchasing followers or not is highly relevant to Ms. Paulson's classification of herself as a reporter, as well as her credibility. This lawsuit is based on defendants' actions, and her actions as it relates to her social media follower count, including any she has purchased, is relevant to this case. I think this shows just how much 7M is watching Katie Joy. I don't think this is something that has come up in any of her other lawsuits. I think they are aware of every shady thing that Katie has done. On some previous requests, they had mentioned specific statements, but on this one they didn't. But Katie Joy or her lawyer responded, stating that the statement was not a fair paraphrase of what Katie said. So 7M is like, no statements were made in this request, merely designation of a subject matter and the potential source for that information. As it appears defendants were merely copying and pasting their answer and did not properly respond to the request. And then at the bottom, Amber said, failure to respond in full to these requests will result in plaintiffs filing a motion to compel pursuant to Minnesota blah, 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 and motions for sanctions and attorney's fees for defendants. Willful failure to respond to discoverable and relevant questions, as well as reporting defendants for perjury under Minnesota blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I know. She's in deep shit, isn't she, Walter? for their inconsistent statements. Oh my gosh, I am so impressed with Amber Stavig. She's smart. She's not mincing words. They are coming hard for Katie. You know, no wonder she was pulling out the victim card. I think we all just got to take a second and give Amber Stavig a standing ovation. Oh my gosh. If I was Katie, I would be crapping myself right now. It sounds like her defense has been, well, I'm a journalist. I can say whatever I want. 7M and their attorneys have crumpled that defense back up and just shoved it back at her. I find it hilarious and so well deserved. I know it's probably going to come across as mean to be gleeful over somebody, you know, having some hardships like this, but Katie caused these all herself. If she just wouldn't have said the things she said, none of this would have happened. It's her own fault. And so many of us have been following her for 2, 3, 4 years and just seen her hurt person after person after person. Nothing good has ever come out of the 4 years Katie Joy has been on YouTube. But there is a world of hurt that she has caused. So to see karma possibly finally be coming, it is well deserved. Before I end the video, I want to give a proper shout out to my members this time, because the first time I gave a member shout out, I missed a whole bunch of people. So thank you so much to Mama Bliss, Catherine B, Rena Rue, Ninja Girl, Flying Mom Laura, Normal Bird Lady, Leah, Charla, Deb Hunter, Crafty Flaw Lady, Camping Mama, Country Girl Brenda, and Erin. Thank you guys so much. And I'm so glad that I chose Walter's picture to show up as an emoji next to your name, because I absolutely love seeing that when I'm going through the comments. But thank you guys so much for your support. Even if you're not a member, thank you so much for your support. I know most of my subscribers are for my Katie Joy videos, and like I said, I know I haven't been making as many as I used to, but I see you guys sticking around, and that means the world to me. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
I actually am a reporter, so you can fuck off. Fuck off, Lizzie. I hope you, fuck off, Lizzie.